First, they honored a Nazi in the House of Commons. Now they've given a medal to a trans person who got Canada's oldest rape crisis centre defunded. Last week, Morgane Ogre, a trans activist from Vancouver, was awarded the Meritorious Service Medal by the Governor-General of Canada, much to the ire of many Canadian women. As described on the Governor-General's website, the Meritorious Service Medal recognizes great Canadians for exceptional deeds, such as tackling poverty or improving educational opportunities. In the list of recipients for the awards that were distributed on December 7th, Ogre is described as a champion of diversity who has changed perceptions around 2S LGBTQI+ rights and has worked tirelessly to see those rights enshrined in law. The news of Ogre's top-level commendation did not sit well with Canadians' women's rights advocates, who noted that Ogre has a long and disturbing history of actively opposing women's rights. Canadian journalist and Feminist Current founder Meghan Murphy called out the Governor-General, writing that Ogre had once stalked her through her neighborhood in apparent retaliation for her views on gender ideology. In 2019, Ogre successfully campaigned to strip the funding for Canada's oldest rape crisis centre, Vancouver Rape, Relief and Women's Shelter, due to his policy of serving only women. Ogre said the shelter did not comply with Canadian law in comments made before the city committee meeting. In the 12 years before Vancouver Rape Relief lost its city funding, its policies of only serving females and only allowing female peer rape counselors had been tested and upheld in court. Both the British Columbia Supreme Court and the British Columbia Court of Appeal ruled that the facility could maintain a female-only environment. Despite the legal precedent, the city of Vancouver agreed with Ogre and pulled funding it had previously provided to the shelter for educational outreach programs, despite the fact that the outreach programs were accessible to all, including transgender people. While in the throes of defending its funding, Vancouver Rape Relief was targeted by a sickening harassment campaign from trans activists. A charity storefront was decorated with dead rats, and messages like "kill TERFs" and "trans women are women." The term TERF means trans exclusionary radical feminist. To the trans community, this means any woman who insists there are only two genders, or who stands up for women's rights. Prior to the incident with the shelter, Ogre had already drawn the ire of Canadian women's rights advocates for supporting vexatious litigant Jonathan Jessica Yaniv. As a trans-identified male, Yaniv became internationally known after filing a series of complaints against female estheticians who refused to wax his male genitals. It was alleged during a lengthy proceeding that Yaniv targeted women with religious restrictions on male-female contact in order to force them to serve him, such as Sikhs and Muslims. The British Columbia Human Rights Tribunal ruled that estheticians can refuse to perform services that they are not trained to perform, such as waxing a scrotum. The Meritorious Service Medal is not Ogre's first. In 2018, he was given the award by then-Governor-General Julie Payette for Ogre's advocacy for LGBTQ rights. According to Feminist Current founder Meghan Murphy, Ogre had made her feel unsafe in her own home, which prompted her to file a police report against him in 2020. This is a man who has gone out of his way to ensure that women don't have safe places to go when escaping male violence. That the Canadian government has supported and celebrated him in these efforts is horrendous and shameful.